What's up, Florida fans? Welcome to another episode of Barton Makes Picks. That's Barton Simmons. I'm Trey Scott, and today we're about to find out if the Florida Gators in year 2 under Dan Mullen are ready to kind of recapture the SEC East. We're going to go game by game.
Week by week.
Week by week. I always forget your lines. Barton is pretty accurate at these. He's going to tell you exactly what you should be expecting. So, Barton, let's get going with a really fun week 0 game against Miami in Orlando.
Yeah, look, I think Florida, I mean, the big question with this team, because they have so much skill talent, they got a quarterback that's improved, they've got talent defensively, maybe not the depth right now defensively in some spots that you'd like to see, but the talent's certainly there. It's the offensive line. Mm-hmm. So can Felipe Franks outduel whoever's at quarterback across the way for Miami with a limited offensive line early in the season? I actually have a lot of faith in Dan Mullen above all in this spot. I think he's going to have this team ready. They'll have a game plan. Whatever their weaknesses are, they'll compensate for them early on. I think Florida opens the college football season with a win.
That's going to be a really fun game. I'm excited. So 1-0, UT Martin, 2-0 at Kentucky. They're still smarting from that loss last season. First one since the 80s.
They're going to be motivated, I would imagine. And while Kroger Field will be excited for that deal, I don't think Kentucky returns the talent. I mean, think about how talented that Kentucky team was last year, and by Kentucky standards, but by anyone's standards. And so I think Florida, a little revenge here, retribution, they get that win.
3-0, another rivalry game, Tennessee.
Yeah, man, Tennessee, I expect them to take a step forward, progress, but they're not ready for this right now. This early in the season, I just don't think Tennessee has quite built it up enough to beat this Florida team. I'm going to go with the Gators.
So 4-0, Towson time, 5-0. So at this point, Felipe Franks is probably getting Heisman buzz. He's spreading the ball around to a really fun group of skill players that we haven't seen in Gainesville in a while. I'm sure the defense is great. Auburn, 6-0. Can we get to 6-0?
All right. If that offensive line really is the weak spot that some may fear it is, this is where they get exposed. Auburn defensively up front is pretty nasty. I think it, and certainly whatever the quarterback situation is there, either it's redshirt freshman Joey Gatewood, true freshman Bo Nix, they will have got their legs under them a little bit as well. I know this is at home. I think Gus Malzahn goes ahead and figures out a way for this one. I think Florida loses to Auburn.
So now it's 5-1. That's not really the news I was looking for with a trip to LSU coming up.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
This series has been hard to figure out. The really LSU series has been
it's a toss-up.
Ridiculous.
It's just whoever makes the right plays at the right time. I think these are going to be two really evenly matched teams. But I really think that LSU, I mean, they've got a roster that is so balanced, so loaded, both sides of the football. They've got a $2.5 million coordinator in Dave Aranda. They got a wonder kid in Joe Brady coming in as a co-offensive coordinator, pass game coordinator. I think LSU wins this one in a really good game.
5-2. You got to focus on South Carolina now.
It's a tough one to play.
Yes, it is.
Going to Columbia after that little that tough road you've just been on, I've got an admission here. I have earlier this Barton Makes Picks season picked South Carolina to win this game.
We do this every year.
I want to be honest, but I've gotten cold feet on that.
Yeah.
I'm walking that back. I thought that was an upset spot. I think it still is. I think that tells you the seriousness of this game. But Florida, partially because they just lost 2 in a row in this schedule, I think that they really circle the wagons and say, we got to win this game. Felipe Franks, that offensive line starts to gel. I think they win.
I tend to agree with you. It's hard to see them losing 3 straight. It's like when you're taking a test and everything's a D or something. All right, bye. And then Georgia. I'm going to call it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
It is.
All right, yeah. What do we got? I think they snapped that streak.
I think Georgia's got a loss in there somewhere on this schedule. This is one of those spots where they could do it, but I'm not pulling the trigger. I just think Georgia is too consistent. I think there's some spots on this Florida roster where they're just not as deep as you have on Georgia, where they're just sort of throwing waves at people at you.
All right, 6-3. We're stumbling a little bit. Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt has players.
Sure.
They don't have the roster of Florida. I think Florida wins this.
7-3 at Mizzou. This might be a trap game.
Yeah.
Or this
trap,
might be bigger than
whatever you want to call it. But Missouri, this game is probably got a really good-looking schedule right now.
Yeah.
They're probably sitting there at 8-2 or something of that nature. I mean, this is a good Missouri team that's playing for nothing but what's on the schedule. They have no postseason aspirations because of probation stuff, so they're going to be ready for this game. But again, I think that Florida takes advantage of this situation here late in the season and tries to close strong, wins it.
8-3, they've swept the Columbia games. You got a bye week before your rivalry matchup with Florida State.
Yeah, and at this point, whatever concerns we had about offensive line,
No, it's got to be.
they've been addressed. John Hevessy's one of the best offensive line developers out there. Dan Mullen is one of the best offensive coaches out there. And Florida State is too much of a mess in 2018
Yeah, you want to talk about offensive line.
to solve things and come beat Florida in 2019. So they win the rivalry game to close the season.
All right, that gives us 9-3. You get a bowl game, maybe you get to 10-3 and match last year.
I don't think it's what Florida fans want to hear, but it's certainly, I think, still keeping things on a status quo as Florida continues to build for national championship